And let me check how it is coming up.
So if somebody wants to watch, then they should go to
They should go to LinkedIn
okay.
and they will see. Let's do this. So anybody wants, they should go to LinkedIn or they can go to YouTube also. So we can give them, there are links that are out there. So I'm going to tell you exactly where it's coming up. Let's have a look how it is presenting on LinkedIn.
Should have put some lipstick on, but I didn't.
You're good. I didn't. I'm like it's the evening. It's the evening.
I know,
It's
right?
the evening. Hi everybody, and welcome to Let's Talk Agile with Lizzie and friends. It is the evening, people. It's the evening. So we're chilled. Okay. This is the evening time. We're at home and we're just gonna have a chit chat and talk about Agile. So, welcome. This is the launch of our new show where we are bringing to you very successful people who have made amazing things happen in their life. And they're going to tell us their story and we're going to celebrate it. And then we're going to talk about how agile they were, even though they didn't realize it. Right. So, this is to all of us out there who tend to like to be a little bit of agile snobs. Right. And we're acting like nobody else in the world does anything, but people do. And they do it often because they have this fabulous Agile DNA. And so we're going to hear, we have our special guest who is launching us, Dr. Souza Curtis. So you're going to be hearing from her and her story. And then I got my Agile brother, Victor. Victor is going to be here with me and he is going to be adding stuff and it's going to allow the conversation to be great and humorous. And of course he's got great wealth of experience in much of what agile is, along with many of the frameworks that exist that come under that banner. So we can go back and forward. Obviously, let me just be straight. We are biased first because we said let's talk agile. Agile is the main front. I just want everybody to know that. So although I am mostly known for being associated with Scrum, and yes, I'm going to drop a little Scrum here, maybe a little Scrum there, the focus is agile articulation, people. So all of those who have been in my classes, when I talk about articulating in agile, you're going to see how we do that in this show. So welcome and let's talk agile. So please, Dr. Souza, introduce yourself.
Okay. My name is Dr. Sansa Curtis, and I'm the CEO and founder of 3D Wellness, a functional medicine practice in Roswell, Georgia. I'm the grandmother of 4, should be this week. I think she should drop this week. And the mother of 4, and co-author, best-selling author of No More Band-Aids 2.0. And I am here to learn from Miss Lizzie and Victor.
So this is who we have on our stage today. And I'm going to let Victor introduce himself now. Victor, the people who don't know you, I don't know why they don't know you, but please introduce yourself.
Sure. My name is Victor Adetiba. I'm an agile coach here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Kind of tutored and mentored by Lizzie and Devon and all the good folks there at Bearded Eagle. And I've got a coaching program where I'm helping mentor young Scrum Masters and even some seasoned Scrum Masters to become more agile and help just kind of push the agile gospel. I'm also married with 2 children. And I've got one on the way that should be here prayerfully May 28th.
Okay. All right. That's some awesome news that we've got there. We're going to have more mini Victors. Let's see if this one comes in female form or not. You may just be the distributor of queens, man. You may just be bringing queens to the world. That may just be your assignment. That just
Correct.
may be
You
it.
might hear one of my little kings in the back making some noise. So please bear
So
with me tonight.
not a problem. We are at home, as many of us still are, due to what's going on. But and because this is the evening, this is like the latest show I've ever done is the 8 o'clock show, right? But we figured if we do it at this time, people can chill. You could be eating dinner, snacking, getting ready for the movie that's coming out at 11 p.m. today. If you're a Marvel person, I'm really excited about that. And I'm going to stay up to watch it because I don't have to train tomorrow. So I will be staying up to watch it and figuring out which one of my kids has HBO. So I'll be calling around my children to say, I don't think I have that. Give me your login. That is what I will be doing today. So I'm being transparent. That is what I'm going to be doing tonight. And looking forward to it. So tell us about how you got started. What was that thing that made you decide I am going to start my own business?
Well, it started when I lost my job. Okay. And when I lost my job in 2011, it was, I walked away. And when I walked away, I felt like so violated and so used. And I decided at that point that I would no longer let my fate be in somebody else's hand. It was time for me to take matters into my own hand. So in 2011, March, when I lost it, I started 3D Wellness. And I just started with consulting. I started with consulting other business. And it was one time I was working 5 days a week, and 4 of those days I was going to different offices. And then I decided to start going into MD, well, with a medical doctor in the DC, and I consulted with them. And after a while, after showing them how to make money, I'm like, wait a minute, why am I not doing this for myself? So that's when I decided I'd open my brick and mortar, and it'll be 7 years in May that I opened my own practice. But I'm pivoting now because of COVID. So that was my defining moment.
That is awesome. Right there, Victor, we hear change came in unexpected, right? And so she had to pause. That's the first thing she had to do is pause and figure out, okay, well, what's the next step? So she had to be open to responding to change. Even though she had her plans, all of her plans were in place, she was running with a plan, right? But she had to pause and respond to change. A lot of people can't do that. And even when we've hit now in the pandemic that we're in, a lot of people haven't been able to be open and respond to change. They just haven't made it happen. And as a result, there is nothing left of what it is they've built, their dreams, etc., because they just felt, I don't know what to do next. And I don't think I can do anything next. So there's that sense of self-belief and boom, I'm responding to change. What else do you hear loud and clear coming to you from that move that she made?
It tells me that she's someone that's able to roll with the punches, right? A lot of people, when corporate America knocks them down, they either tend to stay down or they tend to go back to corporate America looking for something to replace, I guess, that need that they have for belonging from being in corporate America. And so she had the grit and she had the wherewithal to say, you know what? I'm not as valuable as I think I am to corporate America, right? I always tell people that there's no such thing as job security as long as you're working for someone else. The only security you have is the security you create for yourself. And so Dr. Curtis went out and created a little bit more security for herself. So I always love to hear people who move from corporate America into entrepreneurship and take those skills, those Fortune 100, 500, 1,000 skills and apply them to themselves and helping themselves grow, as opposed to helping someone else's business make millions or billions off of them, right?
That's right. And I mean, one of the parts that a lot of people never bother to look at, I mean, it's part of the Agile Manifesto. And whenever I teach, I always bring this part to people's attention. And it's what I call the heart of Agile, right? And it says this: we are uncovering better ways of developing software. Now we can take the developing software part, pull it to the side, and we put it on whatever genre we're doing. So with you, it was the wellness practice. So we are uncovering better ways of doing the wellness practice by doing it. So it's one thing to think and envision and write and talk about it, but by doing it and helping others do it, which is one of the things that happened when you started doing it, helping other people do it, the value of what it was just went boom to you. And you're like, hold on a second. Oh, whoa. No. You're not just going to get all this value. I'm going to bring, I'm bringing some of this value home. Some of this value here is coming home. That's what that's going to do right now. Some of this value is going to be coming home. And I think that's awesome. Right. And this is one of the reasons why I say to people, when we look, and I use the phrase agile for everyday living, when we look at what is here sitting in the manifesto, there's so much of it that we can apply to what we're doing. And often we're applying it and we don't even realize we're doing it. Right. Which is right there. Everything we've just said, you're like, whoa, was I doing that?
Yeah, really.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Oh my gosh, really? I was doing that. Yeah. See, there's that agile DNA. It comes alive. It has a habit of kicking into people when people find themselves in a situation they weren't expecting. So a lot of people freeze up, and the people who freeze up and can't move on are people who don't have the agile DNA. But people who do have the agile DNA don't freeze up. Somehow they find the next move. Right? It comes, they see it, they take that pause, they hunt it, and they find their next move, and then they move on. And what I find really beautiful is what you do. So I want you to talk to us now about what it is you actually do in your wellness practice, what you are known for.
Okay. Well, when I opened my practice, my daughter had come down with an autoimmune disorder, and she was also pregnant. So at that time, um, I actually found it, and so because the regular doctors said, oh, there's nothing wrong with her. So she had Hashimoto's thyroiditis, and so I did additional studies to find out that she had an autoimmune. So what that means is your body is fighting against itself. So by her being pregnant, there wasn't a whole lot we could do. So we should start changing her diet, changing her lifestyle. And just by doing that, her numbers start coming down. And then she just went on and, we had to do a little bit deeper. But I vowed at that point, after I found what my daughter was going through, I vowed at that point that I found my why, my purpose in my practice. Because you can find your why and your purpose in life. But I found the why and purpose in my practice, and that was to help other women that were suffering from mystery illnesses or mystery symptoms, that connect the dots and find the underlying root cause so they can live their life with vitality and hope, and to know that you're not crazy. Because most of the time you go to the doctor and you're a female, what do they want to give you? Prozac. You're crazy. You need to take this antidepressant, and then come back and see me in the morning. So most women and some men that knock my door, I diagnose about 1 to 2 undetected cases of autoimmune thyroid issues a week.
Wow. That just kind of makes you almost think like, okay, where am I right now? And you know what I mean? Because we go and go until something drastic tends to happen, then we pay attention and we get these things checked out. And when we're having the little symptoms, maybe like we're not feeling as energetic, instead of saying, oh, well, I run myself into the ground, I know I do kind of do things with hard, is maybe coming and looking at that. So all of Dr. Sonia's stuff is going to be available, so you can absolutely get in touch with her, book an appointment, right? Because she's doing a lot of stuff virtual right now. So you can get yourself checked out, because that's a really important thing. Now, that brings me to mind that when you talked about you found a focus, right? And you found your purpose in what it was you were doing as your profession. And your profession is honed in on helping individuals. So
Yes.
right there, that's what your focus was helping people. It was the fact that hold on, I want to help people who haven't been helped, who get kind of ignored. So you were zoning in on our number one value, individuals and interactions over processes and tools. The process and tools that people have been exposed to before is the regular medical system.
Mm.
Right? Well, you go here, we'll do this diet. Well, you're not that bad. It's okay. No, you were good. No, you're not chronic yet. So, nah, go home. Take this. This will make you full. And then you won't come back and bug me because you get some happiness. They give you a happy pill. Right? So they were going through their process and throwing out these tools of medicine that weren't serving people, that still today aren't serving people. Right? It's just kind of almost, it's the idea of it's drugging people and making people just docile, and the fight that you have to go through when you know something is wrong and they're not there for, especially as women, it's really, really difficult. Now,
And
men
can
don't
I
necessarily. Go ahead, add, please.
and can I say for Black women it's even worse?
Right. Very much so. Very, very true. 2009, I started becoming really ill I didn't understand. I thought it was just, oh, I was just having a bad menstrual cycle, right? And these things happen. But it was continuing, and it got to the point where even when I wasn't on my cycle, I'd have this huge amount of pain and nobody could kind of tell me what it was. And I went and I saw a lot of specialists, and I was told I had some rare disease where when the egg left my fallopian tube, it burst. And that's the reason why there was so much pain. And, I believed, okay, I got some rare thing. So for the rest of my life, while I got cycle, I got to take Vicodin. Okay, I got it. And I just kind of sat in there until all of a sudden it started to get really, really bad, and it got worse. And so for 3 years, I was suffering with this. Finally, I went to an extreme specialist for females' health, and I was told it was in my imagination.
Mm.
It's your imagination. We've checked you out. There's really nothing wrong with you. We can't find anything. And like, well, why am I in the hospital like every month on morphine if there's nothing wrong with me? And it's in my imagination. Finally, 2012, I was rushed to hospital for emergency surgery.
Mm.
And when they opened me up, they found I had acute endometriosis, which is something that is associated with white females. So therefore, nobody ever bothered to check that this could be something that was wrong with me because I wasn't the right color to have that disease. So had I not been rushed to hospital at that point, the level at which I had it was already destroying other organs. So it had already destroyed all my ovaries. I had nothing left when they opened me up. And that had been years of struggling with this situation and being told there was nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. And the only relief I got was in 2011 when I started seeing a wellness practitioner. And they put me on a whole bunch of vitamins and drinks, and I had to drink green juice every day, like 2 gallons of green juice. And that took me off the morphine. But because things were so far gone, once I started to feel better, and you know what it's like, you start to feel a little bit better. You're like, okay, maybe I don't have to be vegan anymore. I could go vegetarian. And okay, that's not too bad. Maybe I could go back and have me a chicken wing. Um, and,
That's right.
and so you go back to your old habits, right? You revert, you go back to it, go back to what you knew before, which is like when people go back to command and control, even after they've seen that great things happen, right? When you give people an environment where they can self-organize, you just go back to, nah, we ain't got a problem anymore. Everybody's okay. Money's back in the bank. Customers are back. Yeah, we're good. Instead of maintaining it. Now, do you find that you have a lot of patients who, when they've got well, do the same kind of thing?
Yes, but what happens, I talk with my patients and I talk them through because we have an innate ability for our body to heal itself. So our body is speaking, but the question is, are we listening? So things may happen, like you may be tired a little bit, you might have a little skin rash, then you might have some insomnia. So it's not like, it's like the Jenga theory. It kind of builds, 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 and then one day it topples over. So with disease, it starts at 0 and it ends at 10. But you usually don't see the manifestation, like you said, the agile, till about 5 or 6. Then that's what takes you to the doctor. But all of this along has built up with that. So what happens, like you stay good, and you go bad. And then when it gets bad again, you go back good. So what I tell people, I teach them lifestyle. The first 3 letters in diet is die. And it also signifies a beginning and an end. Where lifestyle, you're going to have ebbs and flows. But what we do, we try to get you to ebb, and then the flow comes a little bit, the ebb. So you're not going up and down, up and down, and up and down. So once you tune into your body, listen to your body, then that's when the true healing, because healing happens in the mind before it happens in the body. So yes, I do see a lot of patients with that.
Yeah. I mean, Victor, can you think of some times where you've seen that big, like the revert, after you've gone in and the organization's been doing really well, and then they just go, zzz?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, normally it happens when people panic, right? Or when something bad is happening, right? Or when there's some sort of struggle. A lot of times then people will revert to, what they've known for years. And I was talking to one of the other agile coaches that I work with, named CL, that oftentimes when we see some of these older people in an organization who are kind of managing at the senior or the mid-level, some of these scrum teams, as soon as there's a bug, as soon as there's an outage, as soon as something substantial happens, the 30 or 40 years that they've been in IT creeps up on them, right? And so the organization may have only been doing agile for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. So they're not agile first, right? They're waterfall first, right? They're command and control first. And so when stuff hits the fan, they always revert back. And so, I mean, that's normal. It's human nature, right? When we panic, we go, fight or flight mode. Sometimes we forget, what we're wearing, where our keys are, where we parked our car if there's an emergency. And so sometimes it just takes a change agent like, us agilists or like Dr. Curtis to say, just take a moment, sit back, relax. What's been working for us, right? It's not going to be all good in life or in business or in software or whatever you're working on. So I like to say, don't let your emotions cloud your better judgment. So if doing A is better, don't do B just because you're emotional. You're muted, Lizzie.
We have a LinkedIn user who said something quite interesting, and I'm going to pop it up right here. It only takes one missed milestone in some cases, right? And
Yep.
I think that is true to just life, period, right? One missed thing that happens that can send people in one of two directions. That total panic and I'm giving up because this is the way it's always going to be, or I've got to go find a solution for this, right? Because I need something else to happen, just something else. Thank you so much for that comment. Oh, I love this one. Random, let me pop this up. Random Heighton says emotional intelligence. Yes, I think that applies all the way around. The only thing is, often you will find, right, emotional intelligence can be there when people are thinking right and they're not in that panic. Yeah, there you go. See, I said it's got to be high. It's got to be like high emotional intelligence, right? Like, yeah, on point, so that even in the panic, you can still hold in that emotional intelligence. But often I find it tends to be, sadly, the dental chair thing that happens. So it's like you may have seen a patient, Dr. Curtis, who's come to you and you've warned them, I think you really need to start addressing this because it could get a lot worse, right? And then they're like, yeah, okay. but you don't hear from them that second appointment. And it's not until they get to the acute part where it's really bad, then they're wanting to get into your calendar. Please, please, whatever it takes. Can you fit me in? 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 Because they're in that dental chair moment and experiencing that pain. And that's the part that we have to get really good at helping people understand. And there's a principle that comes to mind, which is simplicity. The art of maximizing the amount of work not done is essential. And I'm thinking that when we take that principle and apply it to everyday living, it's do the small things every day that help to make your life better, instead of having to do the huge stuff, right? That seems so hard. Simple little things that you can do every day. Now, when you're talking about our health and our autoimmune system, Dr. Curtis, what are those simple little things that we could be doing every day?
Sleep is key. Sleep is when your body heals itself. You need to be sleeping a minimum of 7 hours. Okay? The bed is good for 3 things. You're only supposed to be in the bed for sex, sickness, and sleep. If you're in the bed and you're not doing those 3 S's, get out the bed. Okay? And then the other is making sure you're hydrated. These are simple things. Making sure you're drinking half of your body weight in ounces a day. Simple, because if your body's not hydrated, it can't perform to its max. And your brain, because when you go to sleep, what happens? Your brain shrinks. When you wake up, so you need the hydration to kind of wash that system. So when you wake up, your brain's like, hey, I'm ready to start my day. And eating regular food. Not if you're eat from a bag in a box, you're going to end up in a bag in a box. So simple things. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh God.
It's true. It is so true. So you want to shop the perimeters of the grocery store. That's where all the good stuff is. When you start going on the inside and you get the GMOs and all the stuff in the bag in the box, that's going to tear your body down. And those are just some simple little hacks that people can do. And the last thing I always tell is 2 things. Movement. I hate the word exercise. It's movement. Getting your body up. Sitting is the new smoking. So what are we doing now? We sit all the time. You have to get your body moving to get your blood flowing through your body. Okay? Whatever you like. If you like dancing, dance. I like that, Victor. Okay, I got you. I see you. Move.
Wow. Sitting is the new smoking.
Sitting is the new smoking. Yes. And gratitude, because again, that's mindset. So what I have my patients do, 5 minutes in the morning when you wake up. 3 things you're grateful for and why. Okay. 5 minutes when you go to bed. 3 things that you're grateful for and why. And those 3 things have to change every 72 hours. Now, Victor, can you bring out that dumbbell again? Because that's what we're doing.
It's right here.
We're exercising that gratitude muscle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when we exercise that gratitude muscle, what does it do? Scientifically, it increases dopamine. Dopamine is that feel good in the brain, right? So that's a neurotransmitter. But it also decreases inflammation down to the cellular level. Just the act of gratitude.
Interesting. Now, I'm a big proponent of gratitude, and you've heard me do the affirmation stuff because huge, but I didn't realize that would help with inflammation. That's probably why I have got away with a lot of the other things I'm not doing. Because I'm like, sleep, ooh, sleep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not. So I think that's what's been my insulation. Is all that gratitude and that stopping that I will do and just be very, very grateful for. Yeah, who knew that's been my saving grace?
Wow. I've got a question for Dr. Curtis.
Sure.
So I think here within the last week or two, we've just crossed the 1 year mark of kind of the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic here in the United States, right, or globally. How, in your experience, has the pandemic affected people's sleeping hours, people drinking, eating regular food, movement, and gratitude? Because if I'm honest, in the beginning of the pandemic, working from home, I was staying up a little bit later and getting up a little bit later. So I was not hitting that 7 hours, and I'm honestly not hitting it regularly right now. Same thing with movement. A lot of people have been stuck in the house, not traveling or exercising as much as they would have. So they've kind of become stagnant. So, kind of in your experience over the last year, how have most people kind of been affected by this?
I see it a lot, even myself, Victor. Same thing. I get my sleep now. I'm going to get my sleep. But yes, people aren't sleeping, and also the minds, just fear. I think fear has crippled a lot of people, thinking, how do I get the disease? I can't sleep because of the anxiety. Um, and uh, and just even in that, with the gratitude, I think that has helped people pull out, because regardless of what your situation is, if you're alive, you have something to be grateful for. Patients would come in and say, my leg hurts. I said, somebody wish they had a leg to hurt. Okay. So you can always see the glass is half empty or half full. The more you start to feel good about yourself, and as that gratitude goes up, then you start to move a little bit better. The weather's better, you walk out. My mother died in 2020. I couldn't even go to her funeral because it was in April. It was the height of the pandemic. But you know what? She died at home with family, and she didn't die alone. So that is my saving grace and my gratitude, that she died with family, and she could have died alone with COVID. And she survived a cancer sentence. She thrived with her cancer sentence of 13 years. It should have took somebody out between 6 and 12 months. So I try to work with people and to see, like, if it's walking up down the stairs extra couple of times, that's movement. So sometimes we negate the small things. So like Lizzie was saying, the small things. How do we eat an elephant? One bite at a time. If we look at the elephant as a big thing to consume, our mind can't fathom that. But as we get to eat small pieces, so I always help, do what you can do and find things that you can reward yourself. And it may be, Amazon's big now, buying something on Amazon, going to see your grandkids. I know Amazon is crazy. Going to see your grandkids and finding that place that you can, or that you can feel comfortable, or family members. I know mental health is huge. People with depression. I'm an extrovert, and I had to deal with not going out with my friends, not going to a conference. So how do I do this? Now I'm a conference junkie. I just go everything online. It's not the same, but I have that little sense of just a touch of it. So that I do see it a lot, but again, I try to always have my patients look at things as the glass is half full and not as half empty, because mindset is key.
So if we look at principle number 12, right, it says at regular intervals, the team reflects on how to become more effective and then fine tunes and adjusts its behavior accordingly. So you've given us some tips. And one of the things you're saying is, if we are taking that time to fine tune around gratitude, if nothing else, at least at regular intervals, first thing in the morning, last thing before we go to bed at night, finding 3 things to be grateful for can fine tune you internally. So when you sleep, you got some good stuff going on, right? Considering a lot of us don't necessarily sleep that. And I have to be honest, it's not that I don't sleep well. When I sleep good. I just don't get to the sleeping part. So I am working on, I'm now going to put that on the backlog of 7 hours. See how many times I can do 7 or more, at least a minimum of 7 throughout the week, and see how that works, because I got the gratitude thing going. So I got that. So ticking the box. I got that piece. But getting to that kind of sustainable pace is having all of it. Right?
But you got this, Lizzie. You got to see you got it. It's already
Yeah,
done.
yeah. We got
Now you got to
to
manifest it.
got to see that we're already done and manifest. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, what comes to mind for me now is continuous attention to technical excellence. Right? Because this is the product. Right,
Yes.
people? This is the ultimate product that we are constantly fine-tuning and reprogramming, right? And updating is this product. And I don't want to be in the bag in the box.
Because there's a quote, I don't know who said it, so don't say, if you don't take care of your body, it's an unknown author. If you don't take care of your body, where will you live?
Ooh. Ooh.
Let that sink in.
Oh my goodness. That's deep.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't, yeah, where will you live? Oh my. Wow. Wow. Wow.
In a bag or a box. Full circle.
It might be ashes nowadays too. I forgot to add the ashes. So okay.
Ooh, wow, that is deep. That's so deep, but so true. It's like, da-da. My
So
goodness.
Dr. Curtis, let me ask you something. So what is you've given us all the things that we should be doing, right? All of the positive habits that we should be building. So what are some of your like guilty pleasures?
I see as no guilty pleasures, Victor, because sometimes it's like this. If you want that cookie, I'm sorry, eat the damn cookie and enjoy it. Okay? Just don't eat it 24/7. All right?
Right.
So you're
Right.
not going to eat the box of cookies because
Mhm.
you're going to have things in life. You're going to have deaths. You're going to have anniversaries. You're going to have birthdays. You're going to have weddings. So if you put yourself so much, it's stress, and you stress yourself out. I have people come in and are like, I can't eat this. And I'm like, would you just eat it? Because what you did to your body from the stress was just as
It's
bad.
work.
Yeah, it's worse. So just go ahead and eat the damn cookie, enjoy the cookie, live life. And that's what I'm saying. It's that life thing. So there's ebbs and flows. You're going to dip. If somebody comes and tell you they're 100%, they're lying. So do I falter? Yes. Do I feel guilty for my falter? No.
Okay.
Not most of the time. I do feel guilty sometimes.
What is something? If you haven't had anything to be grateful for that day, you can be grateful about the cookie.
I know, right?
That's
Right?
true.
I'm so grateful that I had this cookie. It tasted so good
And
as I bit
enjoy
into it.
it. Enjoy
And
the
I was
cookie.
able to enjoy that moment. Yes, with that cookie. Absolutely. I feel that way about my sticky toffee pudding.
Yeah.
Just
And what's that?
my sticky toffee pudding. It's
Show me that recipe, Lizzie.
oh, I don't bake it. I have found an authentic British person who is now in Austin, Texas, and she's made a company called the Sticky Toffee Company, and they're in Austin, and they will ship them to you. And when I tell you, it's good. It's
Gonna have
so
to drop
funny
me
when you
now.
talk about it's so good. When I ate it, I have to admit, I sat on my couch and I was like, God, I thank you so much that this woman decided to move to North America so I could get sticky toffee pudding again. I am so grateful. I really did. I did.
You're working that
Gratitude.
gratitude. That gratitude, okay?
It was so good. That's exactly what I did. I really did. I sat on my couch and I did this exactly what I did. I went, oh God, I'm so grateful for this sticky toffee pudding. thank you so much for making this woman move to North America, right? Because it's way cheaper than if I was trying to ship this out of the UK. Because the really good stuff is hard to find, right? Because there's a certain way it's made, etc. But that's the guitar.
Hit the heart,
Something
right?
else. I'm telling you, it just got it's so deep, so deep. It's so deep.
Now you just can't eat the sticky pussy every day, okay?
No,
that would be
you're
your
right.
treat, okay? That would be your
no,
treat
you're right.
for being good.
You're absolutely right. Can't eat it every day. Just eat one for the week. But it's all about it's about the balance. See, because I need to get the sleep in as much as I would get in the sticky toffee pudding. Yeah, I gotta do that. I gotta do. I will not be in a bag in a box. And like I say that to myself, I'm thinking like, oh, I don't think I'll work out now. You don't want to be in a bag in a box.
That's right.
So yes, that's gonna stay with me for life. That's gonna stay with me for life. Victor, you were saying.
I don't remember because it's so it kind of reminds me like the sticky toffee can't be the sprint at the end of the iteration where you have all the fun, right? You only get one of those each iteration, right? So everything in moderation, right?
Correct.
Yes, everything in moderation. You saw it.
Correct.
Everything in sustainable pace. Sustainable. It's not sustainable to do that all the time. We've got to do that. And if we didn't have motivation before, everybody watching and all of you who watch it afterwards, if you didn't have motivation to drink your water and to be moving and to be grateful, you do now because you don't want to be in a bag in a box.
Bag in a box.
That's bag in a box.
That's it. You don't want to be that. And if you didn't know what your bed was for, there are 3 S's that your bed is for: sleep, sickness, and sex. You don't want to have to be sick in bed. So the thing to do is to do the drinking, the hydration, the gratefulness. So you have the 2 other pleasures from bed: the sex and the sleep. I mean, this is some good stuff. Dr. Curtis, this is good stuff. This is awesome. This is awesome. I mean, you've got such good one-liners that you could just do a book of one-liners and just audios, right? Dr. Curtis's one-liners for life.
Well, thank you.
Yes, because there are things that make you go, oh, okay. Yeah, all right. Yeah, absolutely.
Dr. Curtis, did you when you started your practice, was this your first foray into entrepreneurship, or had you ever done anything in entrepreneurship prior to this?
First jump in. Yeah. First time jumping in.
And so where did you get the courage and the information that you needed to get started?
Like I said, I was starting with consulting before, and then the courage was, Victor, I don't know where I got it from. So it's just like, it was do or die. I was a single parent with 2 kids in divorce when I went back to PA school. And my kids was my driving force. And that is what has kept me going on and on. And at that time, my kids were still, I think I had 3 kids in college. So I didn't have time to lick my wounds. I had to figure out a plan. And I had a friend of mine that I had contemplating about getting my practice. And my father had passed, and he came to me and said, let your friends help you. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to mess up money with friendship. So when I accepted that, my friend gave me $13,000 to start my practice. But I had to change my mindset that I was ready before it actually came to pass. And then I started buying stuff. I didn't have a place. Even before then, I bought furniture. It was in my garage. I bought equipment. It was in my garage. So when I opened my doors, I already had the furnishing before I opened my doors. And then the money came. So the mindset was there, didn't know where the money was going to come from, but I bought it. I bought stuff. If I found it on sale, my husband say my name is Clarence instead of Sansa, because if it's Clarence, it had my name on it, and I could find it. And I had everything in my garage in our basement, and I had everything to equip my office. And matter of fact, when I found my office, the landlord told me I didn't have enough for my P&L. And I was like, what? And so he said, go find someplace else and come back. And I got in my car that day, and I was going to call my friend and cry, but there wasn't a cry in me. So then I called her, and she says, what do they want? They want a year's rent? I will give you a year's rent. So she sent me the check, gave it to my landlord. I've been here 7 years and haven't been late once. And he says I'm one of his best tenants, and he's glad he couldn't cancel me.
Man, won't the last become the first, right?
So every time.
So you talk about mindset, and that's something that Lizzie is really big on, and she's been working with me on understanding kind of the importance of it, because I think I've naturally become a person who is, positive mindset, I can do it mindset, but I have to. Lizzie's been helping me understand that everybody is not that way, and some people struggle more with mindset than they do with anything else. And so I guess my question is, what was it about your mindset that had to shift to get you ready to take this foray? Like, what types of doubts did you have in your mind?
Well, I had plenty of doubts. I'm like, but it was like, what am I going to do? Where am I going to take this practice? What am I going to do with all this furniture that's in my garage? And when I start to go there, I'm like, no. I'm going to move forward. I have to move forward. I don't know if I'm going to survive, but I have to at least put my first foot forward, and I have to try. So that's where it was. My dad I grew up in the military, grew up in Europe. So I had that military discipline that I have to at least try. And then also my dad, when he passed, he always had, he wanted to have his own business. So this was me living out my dad's legacy. That was another thing that kept me going as well.
Wow.
Wonderful.
That is just awesome. I mean, when I'm thinking about the friendship and the coming together on that, it brings me to the principle, and this is going to probably be interesting that I picked this one, guys, is business people and developers must work together daily throughout the project. Because here came the person with the finance. You're the person is going to be putting the grit to doing this, but coming together, because it's so easy to just want to do it by yourself, but teaming gets the job done. And it's so important for people to be able to team, and you were able to say to yourself, and again, that's a mindset. You said to yourself, you know what, you're going to have to shift your thinking around this.
Right.
Because if I don't shift my thinking around this, here's an opportunity and I may not be able to make it.
Yeah.
But that person was on your path, had come into your life to be there at that point in time. Because I often talk about the fact that we're on this journey called life, and people collide on your paths, right? People show up, and sometimes you don't know why somebody's shown up, like who they're supposed to be to you. And a lot of times we can be very closed off and not very open to new people or people who haven't always been there. But if you allow yourself, and you get just a perfect example, allow yourself to stay open, because you never know who that person is supposed to be or who you're supposed to be to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
You
Sure.
never ever know. Right. So this thing we're doing and this journey we're doing called life, we have got to stay open to the people who pop up on the journey. Right. So it's always again about this concept of community connection and what we say in Agile, collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because if we want to be able to collaborate with people, we've got to take the time to make the connection. If we don't take the time to make that authentic connection with people, we're not going to be able to collaborate well. And a lot of times we want to jump to collaboration, right? And we haven't done any work to make the connection happen.
Mhm.
And that is so important. It's like, you want to jump to the idea, I'm 100% fit and looking awesome. But if you don't want to do it every single day, it's not going to get there overnight. We often want the microwave, like we go for an app, get another app for it. Well, that one, just download another app. There's some things we can't download an app for. It's going to take the work, the consistent doing it, making this thing work. And when it doesn't, reflect, improve, adapt, keep doing it again and doing it again. Because what you're talking about for us to do to be able to sustain our life is constant activity. Always.
Right.
It doesn't stop, which is so, so powerful. Well, we have come to the ending of where we put in our time box. And Dr. Curtis, I want to thank you so much for being here. And I want to ask you, what last words would you leave with us?
Your journey is not your journey. Life is a journey, not your destination. It's only a step to your destiny.
I love that.
And thank you.
I love that.
Thank you for having
Thank
me.
you. Thank you so much for coming and being our launch guest. Yay!
Thank you.
That's
Yes.
so this is awesome.
We got the memo.
We did. We came together. Yes, we
Y'all didn't tell me. Nobody told me nothing.
Sorry, Victor.
You got to get the connection, man. Pick up on the vibe.
Gotcha.
Pick the vibe. I've got to pick up on the vibe.
Gotcha.
Thank you to everybody who showed up and has been in here with us, giving us great comments. Pamela telling us that a good mindset and preparation is everything. And we have words of wisdom. People are just talking about how much. And we had Kayana saying, eat the cookie, enjoy the cookie, live your life. Yes. All right. We're gonna do that, but we're gonna do sustainable pace. We're gonna find that sustainable pace by doing the things we need to do every day. So in closing, I want to encourage you all to understand this thing that we talk about, Agile. It's way bigger than you've ever thought it was possible. And it's something that you can bring these principles and values and apply them to your everyday living. And you'll notice your living will get a whole lot better. Victor, your closing words.
Respect the process, appreciate the process. Anything worth having is worth putting in the time and the effort and the energy to attaining. You see a lot of lotto winners that win, hundreds of millions of dollars one day, and then the next day, they're broke, right? They lost it. And that's because they didn't work for that money. They didn't work for that reward. And so when you don't work for something, you don't get to understand the true value of it. And so a lot of times it's underappreciated. And so if you really want to appreciate that end goal of wherever you're trying to get to, whether it's mental health, whether it's physical health, whether it's true agility within an organization, it's best to not rush that process, because if you don't rush it and you take the time to enjoy it, when you look back in 3, 5, 7, 10 years, you'll really appreciate the journey that you've been on. So just take the journey.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you guys so much for being here. We appreciate you. I appreciate you guys so much. And so we are tuning out and saying thank you all for watching. Be sure to get in touch with us. Make sure you look out for us. We will be around every Thursday at 8 o'clock. We will be looking at agility for everyday living, and we will be bringing on guests, people from the industry, people who are not part of our industry, so we can chat and see how Agile can really come to life in every day. Thank you guys so much for being here. We really appreciate you. And somebody is saying to you, Dr. Curtis, Kiana saying, thank you for your insight and wisdom, Dr. Curtis. So please, we will be putting up all her details so you can find her on LinkedIn, follow her on social media, go to her rooms in Clubhouse. We will be putting up all her details on the page so you will be seeing them and you can follow her because you want more of these gems of wisdom that she has to offer. And you definitely want to tune into her practice because she can help you live well and stay out of the bag in the box. Have a great night, everybody. Bye-bye.